we've been trained and heard over and over and over that riches are in the niches. And I'm not here to squash that in any way. However, over the last 18 months, we've seen a pretty drastic market change. And sometimes the niches do dry up. And this is where we need to step back and focus on how we're building our business. If you have a specific niche and it's still rocking and rolling, continue to do that. However, I have started to step back and realize building toolkits for specialization is a much safer and easier way to not niche yourself into a position where the market shifts and your entire pipeline drives up. So stay tuned. I'm going to dive into all that and more. What's up, guys? I'm Jeremy Kane with the Real Estate Agent Playbook and the Wolf Pack. I am so excited to dive into this today. As I've coached 200 agents, I partner with them and coach them for absolutely free through my course, through, personal access to me. This is something that I've really dialed in. If you are in need of a little bit of a shift, some specialization, but don't have, the full confidence to dive all the way in, let's have a conversation. We can build out specific toolkits for you. When you partner with me, you get all of that for absolutely free. So if you're interested, book a call, reagentwolfpack.com below. But let's get rolling. So if we really step back and look at this, right? Niching down could be a double-edged sword. And this was something that everybody kind of thought about as the market was on fire, but then everyone's like, oh, niche down. No matter what niche you picked, the real estate market was on fire. So it didn't really matter, right? So you could specialize, you could really narrow down your focus. And I'm not here to say you can't anymore. However, what I have seen to a large amount of my colleagues' businesses, as much like the transactions are 40% down, their business is usually 40 to 60% down in some cases. Some people are still on the up and up if they're in the right niches, if they're doing that. But also, if you really step back and think about it, there was people that were in the first-time homebuyer niche, right? And that was a hard niche, but it was a constant pipeline, and we worked through the tougher seller markets and kind of got that rolling still. But if you stayed the course, once the market changed and interest rates rose and competition fell off, then we started getting creative to absolutely drive that niche home. And that's what I'm talking about here, to have different toolkits, different sets, just as when you're building a house, right? You have a whole different toolbox for when you're framing and building walls. And then the drywall comes in, and that's a whole different toolbox. And then you have the paint and the texture, and that's a whole different toolbox. So if we can build our business in toolkits, we can absolutely continue to do the thing. And ultimately, if you're a home builder and you have these different toolboxes, your unique value proposition, your target audience can kind of be very similar. And then you have different toolkits for different segments. And toolkits also involve other tools, other partnerships that you can kind of fit into this box. And this is a model that's a lot more easily transitioned when the market does shift so quickly versus 100% niching down on that one unique value proposition and niching down so far in the details that if that dries up, you're going to have to step back and build something completely different. Well, that's not necessarily the case with this toolbox method, because you can say, okay, well, that toolbox is, in the back of the garage. We're not going to use that for a while, but we can take these tools from this toolbox and package it over here and kind of slightly change our trajectory and focus and really make the best as the market shifts. So you don't want to get too crazy. It doesn't want to be shiny object syndrome. But I feel once you have that toolbox and you know everything you need is in that toolbox for that specific avatar, and the avatar that wants to, retire on a golf course, right? That's how specific I'm talking with these toolboxes. Then that's up and running, and that's there. You know what to do. You have the team built. You have everything built out from there. But if you want to, that makes it easier, right? When you surround yourself with the right professionals and all of that's going on, then you can do that, right? And I talk a ton about industry partner and community partner relationships. So that's a lot of what I have in these toolkits, is those relationships. So once you have those relationships and they're dialed in, then we're able to, okay, when I get this buyer, it also makes it easier to partner with multiple people, because, okay, when that toolkit's needed, you're my go-to, right? But when this toolkit's needed, it's a little bit different avatar, it's a little bit different personality, then I can partner with another title rep or another lender, that maybe fits that, specific need more. So it allows you to grow those partnerships. And like I said, industry partnerships are a massive piece of how I built my business. If you're interested in that, my course has an entire 12-week accelerator and examples of that. And you get that for absolutely free when you do partner with me. So something to consider there. So maybe you're following, maybe you're tracking, maybe you're not. But say, for instance, that your unique value proposition was to, help retiring adults or retirees, make that next move. Right? You might have different toolkits based on that value proposition, right? You probably have a group that stayed in there as long as they could, and now they can't maintain the house anymore. Maybe they're looking for assisted living or some senior community living, right? That's one piece of that. But then you also have the retirees who are fresh off, they're ready, they've always wanted to retire on a golf course. That's a completely different toolkit, right? You can have, lists of golf clubs, lists of homes, on golf courses. You can have golf lessons for the other spouse that doesn't golf. You can have club fitters. You can have, country club comparisons. You can have all of those things in that toolbox that definitely wouldn't connect to someone who's moving to an assisted living facility, but still is, under the umbrella of your unique value proposition, right? And then maybe there's, an oceanfront or a waterfront group that has always wanted to live in a condo on the beach, right? What's that look like? A completely different thing than the golf course in this. You can borrow some tools from the golf course toolkit if that's the niche, but maybe not. So you build these different toolkits, and then you can, do different lead magnets, and you can do different educational courses on those to generate leads. And you have those niche specific lenders and partners that can partner with you on some of that stuff and get excited about it and have direction. And then it makes, some of those home buyer courses or whatever a little bit more exciting because you're specific, you have all this value, but then again, you're still focusing under that ultimate unique value proposition. So it's really one leg that you just have these 3 microsets or 4 microsets or whatever it is that, could do it. And you can do this for any niche, right? It doesn't have to be the retirees. You could have first-time home buyers, right? You could have, first-time home sellers. You can have, people that, sports, figures, entertainment figures, whatever. And you can build these toolboxes as those avatars all need something a little bit different. So what I would do is when you have a unique value proposition to try and stick to that until the toolkit's built out and you have a toolkit for every single thing, right? And as you build that, it will be very easy to create content around that, to do all of those things. And I break this down so much in, live trainings and things like that. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching from me, again, look into partnering. You can book a Realtor game plan call where we can kind of dive in on the surface level. But obviously past that point, we have to talk about partnerships or, coaching or whatever that looks like. But ultimately, if you focus on the Toolkit method, I think this will really help you kind of omit the overwhelm. We know we have to have unique value proposition, but we're scared to niche down into one specific piece if it's not, a continual, thing like that. For instance, probate, right? I have a video coming out this week with Carolyn Castillo down the line, and she's focused solely on probate. Well, probate's never going to dry up. It's a recession-proof business, and she talks about her amazing systems on that video. So make sure you catch that coming out on Friday. But as we kind of focus in on all of these different tools and building these niches, I just wanted to throw caution to the wind about the push to niche down into such specific areas where if the pipeline drives up, then what do we have? We're stuck with that niche. We know that, for instance, right now it's kind of that move up buyer, right? They have a very low interest rate and they need to move up because they're bursting at the seams at the house, but they struggle to see the value in moving up, having a more expensive home with a much more expensive interest rate and mortgage payment. And so they're kind of stuck, right? So that niche has, vastly dropped off, and they're looking at adding to their homes or, all kinds of different options there. Not saying it's completely gone, but the move up seller has definitely not been what it was during the pandemic years. So I hope this helps. I'm excited to talk to you more about that. I also have a UVP coach. If you comment UVP coach below, I'll make sure that I send you that custom GPT that'll help work you through this. Typically, if you have a unique value proposition, it'll throw out some ideas and help you build that, the vendor list, and everything involved. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and just know it's okay to build toolkits and not 100% niche down into one area. We'll see you next time.